Greetings friends! I made an earlier video on Buddhist prayer beads and how to use them, and if you're interested in watching that one, it will be linked above or in the info section of this video. And I wanted to make a follow-up video to actually give you some mantras to use with your prayer beads. I practice in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, which is a Vajrayana or Tantric tradition of Buddhism, and that is where in Buddhism, the use of mantras is really located. And if you're at all familiar with these types of traditions, you know that if you're going to do really serious mantra practice, you need to have an initiation, or in Tibetan what's called a wang, in order to really do the practice of a certain Buddha, because it's sort of like being introduced to this Buddha, sort of giving you an energetic transmission so that when you say the mantras, they'll really have meaning and have the effect that they're intended to. But most of us have not had the opportunity to receive a wang or an initiation into a particular Buddha. So I wanted to share 3 mantras with you of Buddhas that are very widely beloved in Tibet and elsewhere as well, and that everybody can say, and you don't have to have an initiation to be able to use these mantras. So the first one has sometimes been called the national mantra of Tibet, and it is the mantra of Avalokiteshvara, the Buddha of compassion, or in Tibetan, his name is Chenrezig. The Dalai Lama is considered to be an incarnation of this Buddha, but each of us has the energy of this Buddha, and all the Buddhas really, within ourselves. That's the whole point of doing mantra practice, is that you're evoking something that's already within you. So we're not just calling on an external deity or something, we're calling on sort of a transpersonal energy, you might say, an energy that's not just within us, it's also out there in the universe, and that's why the tradition has given these sort of forms to these Buddhas, so we have some way of thinking about them that's a little bit personified. But just understand that all of these are an external energy, but they're also within ourselves, and when we say mantras, sometimes they're called prayers, and you can think of it that way, like appealing to this larger form of this energy, but we have to know that at the end of the day, we're really evoking that energy within ourselves. So having said that, the mantra Om Mani Padme Hung for Avalokiteshvara or Chenrezig is wonderful, it's multi-purpose, but basically it evokes the energy of compassion. This is one that I like to say if I am stuck in traffic in Houston, for instance, where traffic can be really horrible and it's easy to get super angry, and instead if you can flip the situation on its head and use a mantra to remind yourself of your own and others' capacity for enlightened compassion, it can really be a game changer. So Om Mani Padme Hung. And people in Tibet, you'll see this carved on stones, you'll see it painted in different places. It's sort of like graffiti, but sacred. And you'll just see people spinning little prayer wheels, and within those wheels often mantras are written in there. Little paper strips of mantras are written and coiled up in those prayer wheels, but often somebody would be spinning a prayer wheel with the mantra Om Mani Padme Hung inside it. They would also be reciting that mantra, so they're just suffusing their mind and their heart and their soul with this energy of enlightened compassion. So that's mantra number 1. Om Mani Padme Hung. And with any of these mantras, the way you could use it is you just take your handy prayer beads, Buddhist or otherwise. It could even be a bracelet, doesn't matter. It could even be with no physical prop. You could just say these in your mind. You take it and you just say Om Mani Padme Hung, Om Mani Padme Hung, Om Mani Padme Hung. And the most important thing, obviously, is not to say a lot of them or to accumulate some large number of mantras, but if you want to do that, that's fine. But really, I would look at it as an investment of time spent with that type of energy. So if you want to make a practice out of sitting down and saying 5 long malas of Om Mani Padme Hung, that's great. Or if you just feel like using it as an emergency mantra when you're feeling frustrated or annoyed and you just bust it out mentally, internally, Om Mani Padme Hung, also great. With any of the mantras I'm going to talk about today, I hope you'll use that approach. You can use it internally, you can use the beads as sort of an external object to help keep you engaged with the mantras that you're saying, but the most important part is really feeling within yourself that energy waking up, that energy of compassion. You're feeding that aspect of yourself. The next mantra that I want to share with you is also a very, very beloved and widely used mantra, and this one is for Amitabha, who is the Buddha of infinite light. And Amitabha is important not just for Tibetan Buddhists, but for a lot of Buddhists in East Asia, because Amitabha is associated with the Western Pure Land. And if you're not familiar with Pure Lands, the idea is that after we die, if we've really made a connection with a Buddha like Amitabha who's connected with a Pure Land, then we will be born in that Pure Land, which means like we're born in an area where there is a Buddha. And it's, you know, this wonderful heavenly sounding type of realm, but also there is a Buddha there who can just teach us, and then it's a great way to become enlightened, to become a Buddha, be able to help everybody ourselves. So that's part of the reason that Amitabha practice is so widespread. The idea is if we make this connection now in our lifetimes, it increases our chances of being able to go to this Pure Land of Amitabha after we die, or honestly, even within this lifetime, to begin to recognize this world as also an emanation of the Pure Land of Amitabha. So you can take Amitabha and his mantra however you want to. But Amitabha's mantra is Om AMI DEVA HRI. Om AMI DEVA HRI. It's a very simple mantra. You'll sometimes hear more elaborate forms of it. And again, just as with the mantra of Avalokiteshvara, you can sit and repeat this mantra as many times as you want. And again, the idea is that you're really tuning into your innate connection with boundless light, boundless energy, boundless awakening, and really the fact that we're not limited to these small beings and these small bodies that we seem to be. After these bodies are gone, what's going to be left of us? Boundless light. So go ahead and make your connection with Amitabha and feel it in this lifetime. There's no need to wait until the next. So, Amitabha, Om AMI DEVA HRI. The next mantra I want to share with you is also associated with a Buddha of compassion. In this case, it's a female Buddha of compassion. She is green, she is very beloved in Tibet and elsewhere, and her name is Tara. She is the swift female liberator of everyone who's in pain or having fear, and she's a great person, well, being Buddha, to call on. For instance, in a time of COVID, when there's a lot of fear and a lot of illness and a lot of suffering, and the idea is that she's like a mother. If she hears her child crying out, she's there right away, no hesitation. And her mantra is Om TARE TUTTARE TURE SOHA. This is also one that you'll hear people singing. There are tracks of people who've recorded this as a song. It's a really beautiful mantra. I'm not going to try and sing it, but I will put a link to a video with people singing it. And it's another one, like the mantra of Avalokiteshvara, that for me is really helpful for just like turning a situation around, especially when I'm feeling afraid. And honestly, traditionally, she's said to protect against the fear of elephants and snakes and stuff like that. I'm sometimes more afraid of deadlines or of doing a bad job on a presentation or a workshop. So any kind of fear, any kind of anxiety that you have, if you can bring the energy of Tara to that situation, it can really help flip it around and help you at the very least learn from that situation, not freak out, feel calm and centered. So like none of these mantras are magic and they're gonna create an outcome for you. But for me, in my experience, they can really help to flip around what I'm doing as I go into a difficult situation, or if I find myself in the middle of a difficult situation. It's just really helpful to kind of have these mantras in your back pocket, so to speak, that you can pull out anytime. And really that's the reason that somebody might spend, a longer amount of time, like half an hour, an hour even, practicing with these mantras, is so that when you really need to just pull out that energy of swift, fearless compassion, you're already connected with it. You're not trying to make a connection in the middle of a really difficult situation. So I hope it's helpful if you're interested in starting a mantra practice or using mantras to supplement your mindfulness or your other meditative practices. I hope this has been helpful to give you some ideas of where to start. And you can find these mantras written out in the notes of this video. Also, if you're interested in basic Buddhist stuff, like what are mantras? How do you use them? How do you sit comfortably in meditation? What are the Four Noble Truths? I have a group list for you. So you will also find that in the info box. And if you're interested in signing up for that, I will share materials on the Four Noble Truths and all these sorts of things with you from time to time. And if I'm doing something live, you'll also get an invitation to that. So please sign up for that if you are interested. And I hope that these mantras will make a difference in your life and that difference will ripple out to the lives of others around you. May all beings be well.